How do you do? And thanks for coming in.
Thanks for inviting us.
You've had an incredibly busy time here, meeting all sorts of people and probably the extremities of the Australian populace. What do you, I really want to ask you what you think of it here so far from that.
Rubbish. No. I think the Australian people are some of the warmest people I've ever met in my life. The thing about Australia is that I love is that it's full of young people and they're all striving for perfection because it's been the same situation twice before, but there's always been a war and all the young people have been basically killed, all the young guys. So now it's just rising yet again. I really hope something doesn't happen this time because I think Australia could be a major influence on the rest of the world, and the water between Australia and America and Japan and everything is getting much closer when people are coming to Australia. I've been saying this for about 4 years now. There's so much undiscovered talent here, like Mel Gibson. I mean, he's like just breaking through in the rest of the world. But I mean, Rowena Walsh. I mean, what kind of actress is she? She's absolutely beyond, and people like that deserve to be known all over the world, and I think they will be quite soon.
And what about the attitudes that you've been confronted by occasionally?
Attitudes are basically the same worldwide. People are very, very curious, and I think that's a very admirable thing, but it gets a bit hurtful sometimes when you are on the receiving end of the curiosity.
Sure.
But people always want to know about you, and the more people want to know about me, the better it is. I think that's great.
When you arrived here, you were absolutely besieged by fans at Melbourne Airport. Was that a total surprise to you? Were you expecting anything like that?
If I'd have known that I was going to have anyone waiting for me at the airport, I'd have tried to look a bit half decent. But I didn't even know.
Right. And what about you in England? Do you get the same sort of response at the moment?
In England, they're much different to Australia because there's a total aura of resent around the English public, which is such a shame because the English are also some of the warmest people in the world when they're allowed to be. But because it's dominated by a few people, because the entertainment industry in England is being suffocated by people putting down everybody else, and it's hideous because there's so many talented people in England yet again, which is suffering. And England used to be like a major film centre. There used to be EMI, MGM, the whole business. People don't go to England anymore to make movies, and that's sad because it's losing money.
Well, two talented people, obviously, the two of you who've met. How did you meet?
I met a long time ago in Ireland studio. Yeah. But actually, I met only Paul Kaplan, Marilyn's manager, and Katie's girlfriend. And I was sitting with two friends of mine called Karen and Naomi. And then we went and worked in there, isn't it? And I met you there.
Well, I was doing some demos and I asked the backing group that Claudia works with called Aphrodisiac to come down and do some work with me on some demos. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever the case may be, only Claudia turned up. Karen and Naomi, for various reasons, didn't come. And we got on so well, we started working together and ideas just sort of accumulated. And we got on very well.
OK, well, let's just have a look at your current single here, Cry and Be Free.
OK.
And that clip, Marilyn, is much simpler in style to your last one. Is that the sort of direction you want to go in?
I want to go in a direction of always doing what I choose to do. Because you have to realise that you're on this earth to basically please yourself, first of all. And you can't be nice to anybody else if you're not happy within yourself. And I want that to show through my work. That I'm proud of the work I do. And calling your name now, I'm kind of embarrassed to listen to it and watch it because, like, when you're at school and you write a poem when you're 4 years old, and then you write one also when you're 9 years old, and you compare the two, there's a lot of difference. And I'm the first one to admit that my voice isn't as good as it can be, but I'm prepared to work at it until it's excellent to me. And I think that if you put everything you have into a project and you believe in it and you try and make something of yourself, it's much more admirable than to sit around and try and pull other people that are trying to do good around you.
Do you think that the club scene in England has affected the sort of music and fashion that's coming from there at the moment?
I think too much importance is put on the club scene in England. I mean, music, videos, everything should be fun. Everything's taken so seriously right now. And it's such a shame because it's entertainment. And I think if I make someone laugh, cry, get angry or like me or whatever, as long as some emotion is pulled forth from them, that's great, because it's entertainment, and that's what you have to remember. And people forget that, and they start writing political songs and the whole thing, which also is, if you've got something that you feel strong enough about, you should do it. But I'm in entertainment to entertain people.
Right. We'll come back to you again, and we're going to go to Against All Odds with Phil Collins. That song, Marilyn.
Phil Collins is so talented. I mean, that guy. He works with Genesis, another English group, and he also does stuff on his own, and they're so worlds apart. And it's the same guy. That's so great to be adaptable. It's a fabulous voice as well. His vocal range is amazing. What
sort of music do you like, Claudia?
I like a very diverse set of music, really.
Yeah, it's hard.
Marilyn's got basically the same taste. He listens to classical. I listen to classical. All those in soul, especially
Chaka Khan, Luther Vandross, Tamla Motown, Diana Ross, Denise Williams.
Well, I understand that you've only got 2 songs to go before completing your album. What about the possibility of performing live?
I don't mind if it takes 3 years before I play live, but the first live show I do is going to be fabulous. And if it's not fabulous, not doing it. That's the end of it. So, unfortunately, if anyone's watching who's desperate to see me live, just wait, but let me tell you, it'll be worth it when we get around to doing it.
Well, thanks to both of you for coming in. That was great talking to you. And for the moment...